So anyone who's been a Get Momentum member for even a little while, you've probably heard my story of how I end my day looking back on the day with a gratitude process, with a completion process, with an acknowledgement process. Michael, I know that this seventh question is not new to you. It's something that you've been working with as an educator, as a teacher, as a coach, as a friend for a long time now. So that question, what was most useful for you? Tell us a little bit about how that works, how that plays, and maybe if you could end this with a case study or one of your favorite stories you've heard from a reader of the book. I think that'd be fun for us.
Fantastic, sure. So one of the ways of recasting what your role is as a manager, as a leader, as an influencer within your organization is to understand that your role is not just to get stuff done, although that of course matters. It's to actually be a teacher. Because in teaching you get to expand the capability and the capacity and the autonomy and the mastery and the purpose and the self-sufficiency of those with whom you work. And it's a really important role. But to be a good teacher, you have to understand how people learn. And here's what's a killer. People don't learn when you tell them stuff. I mean, it breaks my heart, it breaks Jason's heart, it breaks Jody's heart, because we're all in that place of going, we kind of want to tell you stuff.
We have a lot to say.
To tell you. Exactly. But people don't really learn when you tell them stuff, and they don't even learn when they do stuff. They only really get the aha moment where they can pause for a moment and reflect on what just happened so they can extract the value from that. So that's why this question is so powerful. When you get to ask, okay, we've had a good conversation, we've had a good team meeting, we've had a good call as my vendor or my customer or my client. Before we go, just let me quickly ask you, what was most useful or most valuable for you here? 3 things happen. The first is you make them extract the value from the conversation that they may otherwise miss. So suddenly they go, oh, okay, that was useful. Secondly, you get feedback. So next time you have that interaction with somebody, it is more useful for them and it's more targeted and focused for you because you're learning yourself. Thirdly, and this is kind of cunning, you're now reframing your entire conversation as a useful conversation. You're not saying, was my conversation useful? You're saying, what was most useful or most valuable about this conversation? Now, there are variations on this question. I like what was most useful or most valuable, but you can say, what do you know now that you didn't know before? What was the aha for you here? What are you taking away from this conversation? What are you seeing that's new that wasn't kind of obvious before? All of these questions are fine. You can pick the one that works best for you, but it's really about helping them and helping you see where the value was in the conversation so you do it a little bit better next time. And then, look, you asked me to tell a story about a reader who'd been responding to the book. And, I think one of the things that I really appreciated was a review where the woman said, look, this is a great book and here's what I like about it. And then towards the end of the review, she goes, so how am I going to use this? Because honestly, I don't have any direct reports. I'm not managing or leading anybody.
Okay.
But her insight was, these aren't common questions. This isn't a process for just people who have a direct report. These are conversations, these are questions for anybody who interacts with other human beings. My very first book, which was, when was that, 2008 or something like that. Nobody knew me, I didn't really know anybody, I was just trying to, first steps as becoming a thought leader. I wrote to Peter Block, one of my heroes, my intellectual heroes, to say, would you write a blurb for this book? And you know what, he did. Best moment, one of my very best moments of my professional life. And he says in that book, look, coaching is not a profession, it's a way of being with each other. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even know I believed that, but that's what I believe, right? And so for me, that review captured one of the things I really want to come through this book, which is to understand you can be more coach-like with anybody, with almost any intervention, because what you're just shifting your behavior to is a little less advice and a little more curiosity, and that serves you and it serves them.
And I know I'll speak for both you and I when I say the idea behind it all is that we get momentum. Exactly. So thank you for sharing some of your morning with us here. I will speak on behalf of every Get Momentum member standing alongside Jody and I and say thank you. I think these are some things that we're going to be able to use. Do you have, or can I put together a one sheet or some kind of a worksheet that has those 7 questions?
I do.
I'm going to
So
suggest everybody read the book,
Yeah.
but I'd love to be able to provide that to them. So
we'll provide that for sure.
Perfect.
So we've got a great little poster, one with the questions on it, one with the new habit formula, which we didn't really get into in this micro course. The kind of key, they're the key mechanics from the book. So absolutely, we'll have those over to you right away. Because just to say it and repeat it, momentum is so important because it's not just about action. It's just not about noise or busyness. It's about an elegant point of focus towards a destination that matters. And that's what you're doing by being part of the Momentum Group.
Thank you for spending some time with us today.
Sure thing.